Right, good afternoon everyone, welcome back to St Blazey Model World. In this video we carry on with our product review of the Switzer airbrush kit that you can see in front of you. We looked at the compressor in part 1, now it's time to break out the guns. And just as a quick recap, this is airbrush number 1, well packaged. We established it was a double action airbrush, and you can see the contents of the box there. The airbrush itself, a small spanner for tightening the fittings, a pipette, always very useful, the airbrush itself, and of course the airbrush reservoir. And we also got a brief breakdown of the components of this airbrush with a parts list. So what we're going to do for this is test each of these airbrushes. We established in video 1 that both of them were in fact double action airbrushes, which is what the advertising promised. So we'll see how they perform. I've also loaded the airbrush with some acrylic blue paint because that will show up quite well on the filming of this test, and I shall use the same paint with airbrush number 2. So just for the purposes of this test run, I've sellotaped a couple of pieces of A4 paper to my workbench, purely because if the pressure is too high I don't want it blasting away while I try to continue filming. And because paint goes a long way in an airbrush, it's been thinned down. They say you should aim for a consistency of sort of milk, semi-skim milk, fairly free flowing, and that's what I've gone for. So let's see how we get on. So airbrush number 1. So other than the addition of the paint, this is straight out of the box, no adjustments really. I have just regulated the air pressure through the compressor slightly, and let's see how it goes. So not bad, quite a good action through that, and once I get used to it I think it'll be okay. And just try again, push down, pull back, remembering it is double action. Yeah, quite pleased with that. I'm able to control the airflow quite well and get a nice even coat. I like it, that's good. So just off of camera I've just gone for a couple of what you might call maximum pressure shots. I'll just repeat that now on the camera. So that's fully down, fully back. And you can see the air gauge pressure. See it drop as I activate the gun. And the gun, the first gun that we're reviewing at the moment, comes with an adjustment that's just here. So let's turn that adjustment and see what happens. So we have that adjustment wound fully in at the moment. Let's see what the result is. Push down, pull back. So you can hardly pull back at all. So we've backed that adjustment off slightly. Let's see now. Okay, quite a good spread. Yep. And so now the adjustment is backed off halfway. Let's just see how we go. That's actually not bad. I'm able to control that quite well. Of course, the distance between the nozzle and the object that you're spraying has a bearing on this. But that's quite a controlled flow of paint there. It may not appear to be so on the video, but it's not bad. Release the gun, and actually looking at it, it's really fairly controlled, and I think with a little bit more practice you could quite happily spray some rolling stock or a model vehicle or anything else with this, and scenics certainly, just with a bit more practice. That's very good. So now it's time to look at airbrush number 2 with this kit, and for the purpose of this test I'm using the same dilution of paint that I used in airbrush number 1. So let's see how we get on. Again, double action, claims to be from the advertising. Press down, you can hear the airflow, nothing happening. Press back, and there we go. The airflow through airbrush number 2 seems slightly more consistent. And again, with a bit more practice, I'd feel quite happy using this airbrush to spray weathering or to address track detailing or anything like that on the scenics front. Seems very good. Well, I've just reloaded airbrush number 2 with a fresh amount of the paint, and we'll just try a few things now. Okay, so there, it's a bit out of control. Pull back a little bit. Yeah. Goes. It's not bad. For those of you that watch the first part of this video, you'll remember that I said with airbrush number 2 that you need to be very sensitive on the push down, because I'll just push down now and I'll focus on my hand. So I'm just pushing down there, and you can see the paint appearing. I'll try and push forward. It's still there. Now that's okay, and with a bit of practice I'd feel quite happy about spraying something with this airbrush, but it's not quite the double airbrush that it claims to be. So when it comes to evaluating this kit, all in all, not bad. But I think airbrush number 2, slightly more sensitive, perhaps a bit more practice required. You see there it's okay, but it doesn't feel truly like a double action airbrush would. So there we are, the Switzer airbrush kit, compressor and airbrushes evaluated. What do I think? Well, for the money, not bad. I used some Iwata airbrushes and they're relatively expensive, and in comparison these brushes don't seem too bad. A bit more practice required. They're not perhaps as sensitive as the Iwata models. You get what you pay for. But if you're looking at airbrushing from a starting point of having nothing at all, I think this kit is pretty well worth the money actually. It came in at just under or around £70 UK sterling for a pretty decent compressor and 2 airbrushes, and from a starting point that's okay. As with any airbrush, I can't emphasise enough the importance of cleaning the airbrush in between colouring. You need to clean the airbrush properly, and we've got another product review coming shortly on an airbrush cleaner and an airbrush cleaning tank. So I hope you found that useful. Gives you a guide, and come back to St Blazey Model World soon for some more videos, and please remember to subscribe, and if you click the bell icon you'll get an alert each time I produce a new video. Thank you, take care, stay safe in these difficult times. Bye for now.